All right, guys, welcome back to Wealth is Possible.
Mm-hmm.
This style of video, as you guys can tell, so it's a lot shorter, so it's not a podcast, but we are still in the podcast studio. We're just going to go a little bit more deeper into certain topics when we do videos like this. Sometimes we'll have a whiteboard, sometimes we won't, sometimes we'll be somewhere else. All right, guys, cool. My name is Heaven Cayman. This is
Vino.
And Vin.
There we are. You guys can also catch us on Spotify and Apple Music. Today we are going to be talking about inflation. We're going to go a little bit more deeper into inflation. We briefly went over it, I believe, on episode 1.
I think we mentioned it on every single episode.
Yeah,
a little bit.
You're going to see inflation everywhere. It's a
big part of our life and
Yeah.
investing and everything, right?
Yeah, it's a big topic that's happening right now. You might be you probably noticed it when you went to the grocery store, right? Not probably, you did,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. We're at a point now where the report just came out from the Fed in the U.S. where, they just hit 6.8%.
Yes, which is underrepresented. If you actually watch Mark Moss, I'll put a link to his channel below. He's big on showing the deep down details of what's being reported and what's not.
Yeah.
That's why I love watching Mark Moss. I'm not going to try to do what Mark Moss does. I'm going to let Mark Moss do it. So I'm going to link his page.
And when he says it's being underrepresented, what he means is, like, you might notice that, eggs cost almost double, but you're saying inflation is only 6.8%, right?
Yeah. But it's not even just that. So underrepresented as in they're not documenting a lot of things to make the inflationary number a lot smaller than what it actually is. So I think you said it was 6.8.
Yes.
So the 6.8 was the U.S. documented inflationary number, but it's actually a lot more because they didn't account for transportation and they didn't account for food, which is probably two of the most expensive things or the most constant things that you're spending your money on.
A whole turkey for Thanksgiving last year in 2020, I believe it was going for like $28, and in 2021, I believe it was like $60. Yeah. So that's a double.
Some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Some crazy stuff.
There.
Even if you look at the used car market, crazy.
So, I mean, based on the numbers, it's basically the highest it's ever been in 38 years.
Yeah.
The highest, rise in inflation.
I think it's 1982 or 1984. Correct me in the comment section below. That's when Nixon, the old president of the United States, took the U.S. dollar off the gold standard. So back in the day,
so that's what started the money printing back
then, right? So back in the day, if you looked at the dollar, you can actually see that it was like kind of like a token. I don't know if I'm using the right word. It's kind of like it's almost like a coupon to get gold bars at the bank.
Say a word.
And they can only issue out as much as they had back in gold.
So there's a finite number of printed dollars, so it wouldn't lose its value. Kind of like with Bitcoin, for example, right? There's a finite number. Right now,
kind of reminds me of the real estate market in the GTA.
Yeah.
Finite number.
We'll get into that. If you want to get into that a lot sooner, I'll put my number down below. You can talk to me personally.
Once they took it off the gold standard, what that meant is now it's a fiat currency now.
It becomes a fiat.
It's not backed by
what
anything.
fiat means? It means fake. If you guys want to learn more about this and you're gonna learn about a whole bunch of other shit in that book, but if you guys want to learn more about this in utmost detail, I'll put a link to the book down below. It's called Hard Times Create Strong Men. Right? It's the sickest book. It'll give you a lot more than inflation, but I think Stefan Arnio had one of the nicest breakdowns of inflation and everything. One of the primary reasons they print it is just say that they get into X amount of dollars of debt. To clear out their debt, they just print out money. They just print out thin air, and then they pay off their dets. And then what does that mean? Think of it like this. Let's say they made 5 of this one car.
You mean a 5 of 5?
Sorry, 5 of 5 car. They only made 5. Therefore, because they only made 5 and it's a finite amount, they're able to charge you a lot more money. Okay, just say it's $1 million to buy this 5 of 5 cars. One of the 5 of 5 cars.
Yeah.
You paid $1 million for this car because there's only 5. But behind your back, for their own...
They started making more cars, eh?
Yeah, they started making more cars on the low, and they're selling it to mans. Right? And now...
Would you not be pissed off?
Would you not be upset? But now... So now, your car is not worth $1 million anymore because there's not only 5. There's 8. So now, instead of $1 million, your car dropped down to $950,000.
Mm.
And then, as they print more and more and more and more, it's losing more and more of its value.
Mm-hmm.
So what ends up happening?
Dilution.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, over time. Right? So as they keep getting themselves into more debt and whatever, your purchasing power of that dollar is going more and more down. That's why back in the day, if you speak to somebody who's older, they probably went to the fucking candy store and bought like candy for like 5 cents.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what can you buy for 5 cents? There's literally nothing you can buy for 5 cents.
There's literally nothing. Yeah.
Even the dollar store. You might have noticed it's not called the dollar store anymore. It's called a buck or two
it's like
or
a
three.
dollar, the dollar plus store.
Yeah, the dollar plus store, exactly. Right? So over time, what ends up happening is that your money's losing value because they're printing more of it. It's not as finite anymore. It's not as rare anymore. Right? And it doesn't represent anything. It used to represent gold, but now it doesn't even represent gold. It's not backed up by anything. That's why a lot of people, they buy real estate, right? Because it's that house. You're buying that house on that land. And there's a finite source of it. So you're buying that, and therefore it tends to go up. Or you buy gold, which is a finite source, silver, which is another finite source, and now we have Bitcoin. We'll get into more detail about why the Bitcoin is a very finite source, but
Stay tuned next week.
stay tuned. Just just go hit subscribe and press the bell notification so you can book it when it comes, like. So that's pretty much what inflation is. And right now, due to the situation that I apparently can't talk about anymore, they've been printing a shitload of money, like a bunch of money. If you've been on CERB or any sort of like special assistance programs, that's more so.
Yeah, I mean,
money.
that's the main reason why we're seeing the numbers that just came out in this report, right? In 2020, we
stimulus.
had
Stimulus.
I think I was watching Grant Cardone and Kevin O'Leary talk about this the other day. Apparently, in the United States, they're going to take helicopters and fly them up to the sky and drop money down.
Why?
The stimulus. That's a stimulus.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
a joke. It's a joke.
It's a joke. Grant Cardone just
He's talking about money printing.
yeah.
What they're calling the economy right now is pretty much an Italian sports car with 2 turbos strapped onto it for no reason. It was already mad fast. So it was already going really well, going really, really fast. But then they added on 2 turbos onto it.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen eventually, you're going to go fast as fuck, but what's eventually going to happen? It's going to explode. Right?
Another fact, in 2020, after the issues that arose, that we're obviously not talking about for certain reasons, but they created all these stimulus packages, and from that point on, almost about 50% of the money that was ever printed was printed after 2020.
I don't think it was 50%. I think it was
close to 50%.
1/3 or something.
It was I posted a thing that said 25%.
No, 26. It's 26.
26.
Trust me, it's 26.
Because I remember Mark Moss talking about, and he said
I
close
wrote it
to
down.
50%.
I think I wrote it down.
Everybody has different numbers.
Different things.
Just like every
calculate.
statistic in the world.
Exactly.
But
exactly,
at the end of the day, a shit ton of money was printed out of nowhere because they said they needed it for whatever reason. They make this up. They choose. They decide.
A lot of fabricated things happening, but it's okay. We're not gonna get too deep into that. But yeah.
I just want to add 1979, I believe. I think inflation was pretty high then. I don't remember what the rate was. I think Warren Buffett provided some advice to, I guess, his shareholders because his stock was down or whatever, as was the whole stock market, I believe. And he said that trying to invest to beat inflation was not the best solution. He said the best solution was to increase your talents, your skills, in order to increase your income.
Yeah,
that was the best way to combat it. Otherwise, your purchasing power is just basically goes to shit.
Well, you can get into assets that will hedge against the inflation
over the long term. This is like the safest bet. Right?
Yeah.
Like you increase your income, you add additional
increase your
streams to your income,
skills,
your skill set. You make more money.
You become more valuable.
You become more of a valued person. Yes, exactly. Right now is a good time to get ahead in life
because that also gives you more money for when everything settles down a little bit.
Yeah,
you can invest even more.
Exactly. Or should they say as a correction, you have more of a liquid cash. I don't know if you guys we had a little episode about that last. You guys can check that shit out. We'll do like a follow up. I like inflation's a pretty big topic right now.
The main things we wanted to cover is that when the government prints all this money, it's stealing the buying power from us when we have no choice. If someone walked into our house while we were gone and stole all our furniture, we would be pretty pissed, right? Same way, basically, the money is being stolen right out of our bank account without it actually leaving our bank account.
Exactly.
Right? So that's what's happening.
And that's not. It's not gonna go on the news. They're not gonna put it.
They're
like
not gonna
that
put it
on
out
the
like that.
news.
Yeah, but that's
because it looks really bad on the government.
Exactly, exactly.
and
You know,
the Fed and you know. So
you know, there was a saying back in the days: if the common man knew how the financial system worked, there would be a revolution the next day. Right? So it's a very serious thing. You know, we're doing our part to kind of share what
we're just
all
trying
this
to
really
provide
means.
some value.
And guys, this is not a conspiracy theory. Like you guys
Yeah.
can Google it.
Yeah,
You literally Google it.
This
you
is
know?
inflation, right?
Yeah.
Like
what they
just
told you about
put the
money is a
pieces
conspiracy
together.
theory.
That's what it means, right?
Yeah. If you guys want to see more of this stuff, just
Yeah.
let us know in the comments down
Mhm.
below. But yeah, I just want to go a little bit more into it.
Yeah.
I briefly did mention it there. Hedging against
Yes.
inflation.
Yeah.
There's multiple different assets
Mhm.
that you can get into to
Mhm.
help hedge against it. Because I
Mhm.
know a lot of stuff right now. It's like it's just pumped. It's
Mhm.
you know, the stimulus money. It's because they're printing a lot of money. It looks like a lot of things are going up right now. Like it's like, oh yo, my house went up by 200 grand last year. No way, I'm rich.
Mhm.
Nah, like yo, you are to a certain degree.
today.
No, you are. Yeah, exactly. It's
If you
if you
sell,
sell, yes, you're gonna make a
goes
lot of
back to
money.
The realization of
Mm,
the
Exactly.
gains, right?
Technically
Exactly.
unrealized.
Right,
So,
but when you notice this, actual assets tend to go up in price during inflation.
yes.
That's why the housing market. One of the reasons, that's
Mhm.
not
Real
the
assets.
sole reason.
Real assets go up in.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
cars
Yeah.
have gone up significantly.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the only reason. There's also
Chip shortage.
a alleged chip shortage. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I question everything. I question everything because if someone's been lying to me over and over again, I'm
Mhm.
gonna question everything. I'm not gonna trust them anymore.
Yes.
Right, and I've
Yeah.
been lied to by these big companies for so long that I'm gonna question everything from this point
Yeah,
onwards.
yeah.
You
I
have
don't,
to.
I don't think that hurts.
There's nothing wrong
Yeah.
with that, right? Because
Mhm.
like they're not gonna protect you. You gotta protect yourself.
Yes.
You gotta
Right?
question everything.
You gotta
yeah.
question
You gotta-
everything.
You gotta find answers for yourself.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, we live in a world where it's so hard to see the truth.
Exactly.
There's a lot of noise.
question everything
Mm.
until it's still legal. You know.
Mm.
Yeah. 'Cause, you know.
I think Ray Dalio talks about that a lot.
yeah. Probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he talks about it in his book a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, ask. You gotta ask a lot of questions. Ask questions to multiple different people. Get expert opinions from multiple different
Yep.
people, not just one quote unquote expert. You know what I mean? And then
And
you form your own opinion.
Based
rather
on
than just
your
being
research,
like, oh,
yes.
okay, Sally said this, so I'm automatically Sally's an
Yeah.
expert. I'm gonna believe Sally.
Yep.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Make sure whenever you hear something, like when somebody tells you something, make sure you take in who's telling you
Mhm.
that before you take their advice.
Mhm. And even if it's coming from someone
That you
has
trust. Yeah.
never lied to you or has, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
I would still.
Yo, my dad says his business idea is stupid.
Mm.
Okay, but did your dad ever run that business before?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, right? So
Mhm.
don't listen to your dad.
Yeah.
Go listen to somebody who owns that business. This is an example, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But no, going back to what you were saying, right? You brought up hedging against inflation.
Yes, sorry, yes.
Right?
Off topic there, yeah.
You know what that really means is beating inflation. So if you want to beat inflation, if the number is at 6.7%, technically you want to put your money into some sort of an asset
Yep.
that's growing at more than 6.7%.
Yep. And
right?
I'm gonna give you guys some examples of that. There's
Mhm.
there's Bitcoin,
Mm-hmm.
right? We can do more
It's
detailed.
not
breakdowns of
financial
that.
advice.
It's not
but
This is
financial
not.
advice.
Once
Do your
again,
own
it's
due
not
diligence.
financial advice. Real estate, proven.
You want to invest in a company that has pricing power during inflationary times.
Mm-hmm.
For example, businesses get hit with inflation just as
Yep.
consumers.
Mm-hmm.
Banks raise their interest rates.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the cost of borrowing is higher for businesses.
Yeah.
They either lose money, or if they have the pricing power, they can essentially increase their revenue. One example is Facebook, for example, or
Yeah.
Meta, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Their Facebook ads are actually more expensive now, but Instagram ads are very, very cheap. If they
Mhm.
wanted to, they can flip a switch and make more money off Instagram
Yeah.
ads like that
Mm,
tomorrow.
Mhm.
And immediately, no one's gonna stop paying for it because
Mhm.
they have a monopoly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You're either using
You're-
Facebook or
yeah,
Google.
Yeah, yeah.
It's kind of like what happened with YouTube before they had no ads, and after all of a sudden they started giving us ads.
Yeah, Google or Alphabet decided, hey, we want to make more money now.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
they start putting in more ads, and then now for you to return back to your original services without ads, you got to pay for it.
Exactly. So
you know why?
imagine-
Because you're stuck.
Yeah. So in other words,
Yeah.
if you had invested in Google,
Mm-hmm.
that would have been a good
Oh, yeah.
hedge against inflation.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's always a winning side.
Apple is another one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Apple has been as the stock market has been doing not so well in the short term period. Apple has been crushing it.
Mhm.
You know, people,
Mhm.
but for some reason, more people have been buying iPhones than ever,
Mhm.
and it never seems to stop. Right?
Mhm.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. That's pretty much
Mhm.
our video for inflation.
Mhm.
If anything we spoke about here, you guys want more information on, make sure you guys leave a comment down below.
Mhm.
Also, if you guys enjoy the video, make sure you guys like it. If you guys didn't like it, make sure you guys dislike it. And then
Let us know how we
exactly.
can get better.
Exactly. Let us know how we can get better.
Mhm.
Also, hit the subscribe button if you haven't done that already.
Mhm.
Hit the bell notification as well, so you guys can kind of, you'll know exactly when we drop the content.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, let your boys know, let your girls know, let your dog, let your cat know. We're dropping some
Drop some heat.
dropping some heat on this bitch. Anyways, you guys, thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Take it easy. Peace.